David, we finally got an answer today in the trial with Rod Blagojevich on whether or not he'll testify. He's said no, the defense has rested. Closing arguments come on Monday. Is this, by the former governor not testifying, does that seem to help Democrats, or does the trial overall just seem to continue to hurt them?
You know, I don't think that the Blagojevich trial has been as damaging to Democrats as we first thought it would be. Think about this. Since this trial has gone on, both Alexei Giannoulias and Pat Quinn have gone up in the polls. When this first started, we thought, oh my gosh, it's going to be all summer long, it will be drip, drip, drip for the Democrats. And many Democrats were worried about it. But instead, what has happened is Democrats have gained. Why is that? Well, I think what has happened is people who care about Blagojevich as a voting issue made up their mind to punish Democrats for that a long time ago, maybe back when he was first arrested. So, in other words, this whole Blagojevich thing is not adding any negatives to Democratic candidates. It's part of the Muzak, it's part of the noise, it's part of the political buzz. There'll be jury deliberations, there'll be verdicts. But as a voting issue, I'm not sure it can damage Democrats that much more than it already has. Simply because you look at the polling data in the last couple of weeks, and both Quinn and Giannoulias have gone up.
Now, it is still July. We still have quite a few months between now and November. And with the report out today that the Republicans are trailing the Democrats in fundraising, are they perhaps saving the Blagojevich card for later on in this election cycle?
They may be. I'm just not sure if that card has much left on it. You know, Democrats have had some pretty good news lately. The polling data has shown Quinn and Giannoulias coming up, as I mentioned. You know, the campaign finance numbers are starting to come in. Quinn and Giannoulias are competitive with Mark Kirk and Senator Brady. You mentioned the legislative numbers. The Democrats are good in their money in the legislative game, much better than the Republicans. Democrats are running what's called a coordinated campaign for the first time. Well, what that means is they're going to be working together in terms of turning out the vote. One reason why both Giannoulias and Quinn have seen their numbers go up is that women voters are starting to come home to the two Democratic candidates. And so that's good news.
Now, with regards to fundraising, this season is a little bit different in the sense that the Republican National Committee is not raising as much money as they have in the past. Do you see that having an effect on some of the low numbers that we're seeing in the Illinois Republicans?
Again, that's more good news for Democrats.
Right.
Republicans are not having the same kind of financial success that nationally that many people thought they would be having. The Republicans are still a minority party, and incumbents have a lot of clout when it comes to raising money. Incumbents do tend to get reelected. I think the national picture for Democrats is much gloomier than it is in Illinois right now. I mean, they could lose the Senate, they could lose the U.S. House. There's a real contrast between Democratic prospects nationally and Democratic prospects in Illinois. Democratic prospects in Illinois have gotten better. That's my point.
Now, why do you think that is? Is Illinois that strong of a blue state, or is that really a compliment to the Illinois Democratic Party for running that good of a campaign?
I think it's a lot of things. I mean, Illinois has traditionally been a Democratic state. Hard times tend to benefit Democrats more than Republicans. The Republicans have had their problems. Senator Brady had problems with not paying his income taxes. You know, that didn't look good. Mark Kirk had a whole run of bad trouble over his military record, you know, whether he embellished that or not. So Republicans have been stubbing their toes here a little bit.
But the Democrats have been also giving, it's been said that they've been giving gifts back to the Republicans also with...
Yes, but you asked, you know, why Democrats are picking up here, and I think there's a lot of reasons, but I think one of the big ones is women voters are starting to move to Democrats, which is where they've traditionally been in past elections. That's good news for Democrats if that continues into November.
Are there any other demographics that the Democrats should be looking at that are vulnerable right now for the Republicans?
Yes, minority voters. Minority voters have been a bedrock, particularly African Americans, have been a bedrock of the Democratic Party. If those voters do not turn out, and they haven't been in some of these special elections we've seen around the country, if those voters don't turn out, that could be bad news for Democrats. So you can look for Democrats to be focusing a lot of effort on turning out black and Latino voters in Illinois.
David, thank you very much.
Thank you.